If America is leaving Afghanistan after nearly 2 decades of blood and treasure lost, what world does the US leave behind for ordinary Afghans? Taliban stronghold Musa is where many American and British soldiers died. Now, it's a snapshot of how the Taliban will run Afghanistan as they gain power. We asked 6 men living there, 2 on camera, anonymously, in safety, what it's like. In short, bleak for women, a few smartphones, but for all, Taliban justice and Taliban taxes.
There are consequences. If you don't pay, they beat you or imprison you.
A broadly medieval society then, considering all the billions spent, except just recently with the odd smartphone allowed. That's how we got pictures of the streets. Taliban roam the market US Marines once patrolled 10 years ago. The Americans were based here, a location you can see on these satellite images, not far from the empty shop where the Taliban have their temporary courts, which they call the room, dispensing swift, brutal justice.
Punishments depend on what the other side wants. If the plaintiff forgives a murderer, the court might not give a death sentence. But if the relatives demand it, they may. For example, around 4 years back, 3 thieves were hanged to death from the electricity pole on the road out of town for people to see. They had been arrested a few times for robbery, but they did not stop.
This footage from a drive around town heads out to the refugee camps by the river, from where US Marines used to get shot at, and it's clear few women are allowed on the streets. They still don't go to school. Nobody even dares ask about that, we're told. But most men we asked said women had it good. This is what they meant.
They are not allowed to do business outside their house. When they go out, they need to dress according to Sharia law. So for them, it's more important to take care of their homes than working outside.
Women can also get a rough justice in this backward world.
One woman pleaded guilty for adultery and she has been imprisoned for the last 5 years now. No one knows what will happen to her in the end. The man caught with her was killed by his in-laws for bringing shame to his marriage.
Fighting is rare here now, and the Americans must just watch from jets or drones above. In fact, we were told the Taliban only allowed some smartphones in Musa because peace talks meant that US airstrikes there had slowed down. The Americans had been using smartphones to track Taliban fighters. Taliban rule in these streets means they set taxes from opium harvests or shops, we were told, or ask for bread or clothes for their fighters when in need. But some said feuds between Taliban groups mean people can pay more than once.
Many people have been taken to the Taliban room, locked up for a night or 2, or have been beaten up. There are different groups of Taliban. It would be better to have a single authorized official getting tax, but every group tries to take tax for their own pockets. That's one problem for people now.
Life then goes on, much as it did before the Taliban were removed from power after 9/11, with just a lot of Americans and Afghans lost in the battle in between. Nick Payton Walsh, CNN, Kabul.